All right. Happy Saturday. At least I hope it's happy. um, so as I mentioned in my newsletter, I'm playing catch up here a little bit. To be honest with you, it's been a hard week on the house. Been going actually pretty good and working really hard. And I noticed the stock market was down a bunch yesterday. I noticed Soxel was down 16%, but I didn't notice crypto. What's up, Mike? Crypto, holy but Jesus, I don't even remember back in the day seeing moves like we saw yesterday. I just can't even fathom. If any, I mean, so many liquidations yesterday. I saw some posts on Reddit like, oh, so many dollars liquidated. I'm like, you get that every time there's a big sell-off, but not like this. Not like this. I'm not sure where. I'm sure every exchange, didn't have the same move, and most of my charts are Binance. But look at this XRP chart. No one, except for some very patient, let me rephrase that. No one, not even patient traders, can hold margin as long as you would need to get this not stopped out. It's insane. It's like 2020 yeah, maybe. I hope so. I never even considered, like I said, it's brand new to me. I haven't really wrapped my head around it. I've been all house, trying to get this damn house done, man. I'm super, super busy. Um, I mean, maybe. But the best thing to come out of 2020 didn't even happen in 2020. It happened much later. You get consolidations. I'm still on the XRP chart, so it looks like garbage anyways. But you get the general point. The general point is that it takes time. Even after moves like this, if you if you bought this, if you were, one thing I wanted to do is just go down to the 1 minute chart because I don't know if this happened in 1 minute. Usually these do, but I haven't even been down here yet. So okay, it took a little longer than 1 minute, but not much. It took like 10 minutes. Yeah, the last one was setting up. Well, we knew COVID was here. Um, Obviously we didn't know what would happen, but the general consensus from what I consider wise traders is just to be cash in those circumstances. But yeah, this one you really didn't see coming. Remember I told you guys for like a week I had a weird feeling. Like I got a weird feeling. I just got a weird feeling. I usually don't get weird feelings. A lot of times I'll get them sometimes for a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, never mind, it's nothing. This one persisted for like 3, 4 days. Uh, I I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just get a sixth sense about something, I guess. Yeah, I know. You're not supposed to trade. You're not supposed to trade my feelings. And I said that. I said don't trade my feelings. But I'm just saying. Every once in a while, you're like, this is a little wish-washy. And the market didn't look horrible. It didn't look like it wanted to roll off. It didn't look healthy. A couple things were setting up. BTC, had a shot. Let's go back to normal charts. BTC had a shot. Um, where the heck are we? Oh, we're not too far. Like BTC had an opportunity. This is where we saw, I think this is about where we saw yesterday. I think we were actually in this candle rising up. I think we were kind of up here. Outlook on TAO. I'll do that in a bit. We're doing some big picture stuff here. CPMS Bull. Yeah, we're doing some big picture stuff. This is actually a live of my Power Hour program. I do this. I do live on Saturdays and I do recordings every day other than Sundays. And I just did it live because there's some people that have known me for a while and sometimes seek my guidance in these moments. So I try to go live, when I can. But yeah, that was crazy. Let me. I wanted to go to my newsletter from uh, not yesterday. I guess that would be Thursday. I called it not yesterday. Gotta love it. Um, I guess it would have been called Friday. Wait, today's Saturday. Yesterday, yeah. So here is. I'm just gonna pull up the chart on my newsletter. That's my newsletter from the prior day, right? Like what looked wrong here? It looked like we were popping up a little bit, gonna play with the trend line. you know. And if I bring in the whole newsletter, here's the daily chart, here's the 2 hour chart. So there's 2 hour, here's the daily. This looks manageable. Nothing wrong with this necessarily. Now we're not moving yet, but you got a nice pocket pivot here. That's an increased volume signature. Um, yeah, the Trump tariffs. Well, I think they're just remembering Liberation Day because that's pretty recent history. So people are very biased to recent events, and I kind of had that thought too. Um, I'll go to the stock market because it kind of shows it a little bit different. So, Liberation Day, what a stupid name for anything. What a stupid name. Liberation Day. What the fuck are you liberating? People from their money? That's probably exactly why he called it liberation. Is I'm going to liberate people from their money. I'm going to take it all. I'm going to take all the money. Um, when the hell was Liberation Day? That's the dumbest day. News conference. Still April 2nd? Okay, April 2nd. Yeah. So you see the great Donald Trump, you know, entering presidency here. Such confidence in Trump. And then Liberation Day here, and the market just craters. Boom, boom, boom. Trump bitches out because he's a little bitch. And this is where he bitches out right there. That's where he bitches out. And I put up my video that didn't age very well. Probably one of my last public videos was about how this day, most of the times these big days like this are in the midst of bear markets, and we were already in a bear market. The Liberation actually put us deeper into a bear market. But this one ended up sparking because like, oh, maybe Trump's not stupid. And then he got stupid again yesterday. And that's what happens. You know what I mean? You get stupid in the market. Market doesn't like risk. So you put risk on the table, okay? Forget about me calling Trump, Trump stupid. If that pisses you off, then just fucking leave. Um, you put risk into the market. 100% China tariffs. That's pretty good risk for US economy. Every Because pretty much everything comes from China, right? So, yeah, the market's going to be in a risk off scenario, and that's exactly what you get. It's exactly what you get. Um, Someone said he's insider trading it. I don't know about all of that. I don't know about all that. Maybe he's got a trading team. It's like, hey, you stay stuff and we'll trade off of it. I could see that. That could be a thing. That'd be, if I was Trump and I had his personality, that's what I would do. I'd put together a trading team. I'd be like, go trade my tweets. I'll tell you what I'm gonna say before I say it, because apparently that's not insider trading. Um, but yeah, so Liberation Day on the second here, after market closed. Did it close lower or higher? Close was 476. Open was 466. So it closed higher. Liberation Day, craters, 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 and probably on this day, all the insiders got the news that Trump's going to back off and he's going to change some stuff. Um, Hence all the volume. Hence it. This one probably closed higher than the open. So the close is 423. Open, yeah. So closed higher than the open. So insiders probably got some information there, and then press conference here, and then off you go. That's how it works. Insiders always get information. It's nothing to do with Trump, just the way the world works. People, someone types up a speech, or Trump writes it on a McDonald's bag. I don't know, and then someone reads it, and then they say, oh, and they call their buddy Tim, and Tim calls his buddy in Goldman Sachs, and then they buy a bunch of stuff. I don't know. That's just a scenario. But yeah, this is just uncertainty. That's all it is. So could we see this all next week? Yes. Yes, we could see this all next week. Um, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he'll back off over the weekend. Maybe he won't wait so long. I know that he says big and bold and brash things, and then someone with a brain says, "Well, if we do this, this, and this, we can accomplish our goal, and it won't be as bad." And so he does that. Um, so I get the dynamic, but the problem is, do you trade the dynamic? And the answer is no. Absolutely no. You just yeah, exactly, Ian. Yes. 20 What could go wrong in 24 hours? Things are amazing. All right. Can I I'm going to pin this comment. I don't do that, but I'm going to pin it. All right, that comment's been pinned. Such a great comment. Such an amazing comment. Um, yeah, but so actually, I was working on the house yesterday, as I was telling you guys, working on the house and check my phone every once in a while. I actually didn't have any positions yesterday. I was already out. I was already cash. I had a small Ion Q position, which I forgot I added to, so I wasn't super small. And then I looked, I'm like, why am I down so much? I'm like, I added to the position. So I added to it at some point, forgot to unadd it, and so I ended up getting hurt a little bit more, but really not much. And and I looked at it, I'm like, Soxel down 16? What the fuck? And then I look around, I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I told my wife, why? I'm like, wife, just sell everything, please. Just because she doesn't like to sell all the time, but I'm like, just do it. Fortunately, she did. Um, saved another whopping 2% or something like that. She was in Reddit and NVDU. No, she's in Soxel. Reddit and Soxel. And I think it closed down another 2%. So yeah, 19 is like down 16%. So she saved 3%. But risk off, guys. This is if you want to play hero, I mean, if you want to catch a falling knife, I guess. But the market's been on a run. It's been tired. We talked about, at least on my show. I know most of you guys probably aren't subscribers, but um, to the Power Hour, we were talking like I was in and out of Nvidia. It just wouldn't do the breakout, and we talked about it. I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, one of these days. I don't remember which. About I think it was this day. I think it was on Wednesday, where they hold up Nvidia and they sell off the rest of the market. That's an old trick they've been doing for years, where it's easy to hold up the indexes while they distribute other assets. They'll hold up like the top stock, the top two stocks, and then they'll sell off the broader market. They'll sell off their other positions because these are so heavily weighted in the indexes that it doesn't relate in the index itself. And it takes, believe it or not, less money to prop up Nvidia while you're selling Palantir, AMD, whatever, while you're selling all these names. And so I just bailed because it really wasn't doing anything. Man, I'm glad I bailed. I was in NVDU with a lot of my account. Actually, I went all in with NVDU for a second. I'm like, I'm just gonna hold NVDU. It's doing pretty good. And then I was like, never mind. I'm not doing that. I'm just going cash. And that was very fortunate. I'd have lost 10% of my whole account across everything, which would not have been good. Would not have been. I would not have enjoyed that. Um, yeah, I mean, uh, for the most part, guys, I am just all about preserving capital. It's funny. The the more you learn about anything in life, and I'm pretty sure you guys are adults. Pretty sure most people here are adults. Mike's doing a great job of adulting. Ian sounds like he's already won with that last comment. Um, I'm assuming everyone here realizes that for the most part, once you like grasp something, once you get the concept down, whatever really the thing is, doesn't matter what it is. For the most part, by and large, the majority of the things you learn in life come down to the things you were first told, right? It's like, when do you have kids? Oh, when you love someone, mommy and daddy love each other very much. Like, that's a great prerequisite for having children. Okay? There's a lot of stuff, a lot of other relationship stuff involved, but that's a big life choice. When you love each other very much, probably okay to, like, that's the oversimplification that's very, very true. Warren Buffett's number one rule is don't lose money. That's it. It just comes back to that. Okay? It just comes back to don't mess with the IRS. That's another cardinal rule in life, and that's a good one. Just anything. Anything comes down to just the number one thing, don't lose money. So when things aren't behaving properly, I don't get involved. I do all this charting. I do a lot of charting every week. A lot. A lot. I go through 300 charts a day at least. That's just for the show. That's not even for my trading. And it just always comes back to don't lose money. Don't get involved if it's not good. Like just on this chart in Nvidia, there's only a few places to enter just because we're talking about it here, right? Like this somewhere over here is a good place to enter. That's a good place to enter. You could maybe enter there if you're being very aggressive. Somewhere here's a good chance to enter. That's an opportunity to enter. So this goes back to Jan. All year is only one, two, three, four good times to enter. Four all year. It's Q4 now, so you get like one a quarter where you have good runs. The rest of the time is just waiting for good stuff to happen. It's really all it is. And when you don't lose money and you wait for good stuff to happen, good things actually start to happen. All right, well, that's enough of that. Let's go through some charts. Power Hour format is go through the top 20, then go through the alts, which I did not even chart the alts today. We'll go through some alts today a little bit later, and we'll take a look at SEI and SUI, like Mike mentioned, and someone mentioned TAO. We'll take a look at that. But the charts are just so destroyed at this point. They're just utterly destroyed. I'm going to minimize this a little bit so we can see the gravity of the situation. Um, very difficult to really know what to do other than nothing, other than watch. See, at this point in time, the market kind of broke. The market kind of broke the whole thing. So, what do you do when something breaks? You just look at it and go, are you going to break more? Are you? Oh, I hear a crack. Oh, like if you're driving on a bridge and you feel a ka-chung, dropping like 6 inches, you're doing one of two things. You're either stopping looking around where the ka-chung came from or you're gung-hoing it to the end of the bridge, right? One or the other. Unfortunately, in trading, there's really no gung-hoing it to the end of the bridge. So you just kind of have to look and be like, what happened? Are you going to break more? If it's a cable suspension bridge, how are the cables doing? Are these not capitulation candles? We'll go through it, Mike. I actually don't have an opinion on that yet. We can look at BTC. That does not look like a capitulation candle. It is a form of capitulation, but is it like the capitulation? Remember that one guy used to give me crap for saying capitulation all the time? So that's kind of a capitulation candle. That is huge volume at a major low, not bigger than some of these, but it ended up kind of being one. Yeah, I did see some of the alts have that, and but still, but most of those are already up like 80% off of those lows. So it's this weird dynamic where, yeah, you maybe have capitulation candles, but what do you do about it? Are you buying? Nothing looked like I wanted to buy it. So, but yeah, we'll go through it. Um, but so yeah, and there's forms of capitulation. There's mid-run capitulation candles. There's topping capitulation candles. Like here's a mid-run capitulation, it's kind of volume candle isolated out of nowhere at a big undercut and rally low that ended up cementing the low for this whole structure. That's one of those interim lows. And this doesn't even get to that, at least on the index. Maybe we'll look at some individual exchanges. I'm not sure why this is so muted, but they just didn't sell BTC off that much. BTC at this stage, I think we all would agree, is a high quality asset, and they're not selling it off like they sold off XRP. Now this is on Binance. Let's take a look at Binance on Bitcoin. So still not nearly as much as XRP, at least in terms of the drop. The volume doesn't look that expansive with XRP. Yeah. Well, usually if we're actually well, okay, so first of all, a true capitulation should happen at a low. And a true capitulation should come after some kind of a downtrend, which we definitely do not have. We didn't have that. So, there's a capitulation. Like we're already extended. We're trying. So, a true capitulation is generally after a long downtrend. Yeah, it's all weird. It's a good question though, Mike, because it brings up market cycles. A true capitulation happens generally after some type of a large move, then a big downtrend. The downtrend's the more important part. Then you get the capitulation, and this was the 2021 you were talking about earlier. Um, so we can go back to 2017 and look at some of these capitulative moves. Now these ones, withered down a little bit, kind of like a three legs down, maybe something like that. But you get the general picture. Yeah, we're like up. We're at this capitulation. We're at this one where it bounces right back, doesn't do anything. Maybe you take a shot at it, maybe you don't because you realize you've just been hit in the face with a brick, and then it continues to roll over for like years. So we could be something like that, but yeah, because we're just coming off of a high, just placed a high like the other day, wasn't it? 2, 3 days ago? Yeah, 3, 4 days ago. This is just the first big sell-off, and it could be the first big in a series of sell-offs. And we were talking about how we were holding up nicely. Well, that's kind of gone out the window, and so now you're sitting here holding your face. Speaking of being hit in the face with a brick, I got hit in the face with a drill. Yeah, kind of saw a little bit of stars and birdies, like someone just punched me in the face and nearly knocked me out. It didn't feel very good. I've not been an MMA fighter before, so I'm not used to that. Um, but yeah, so just looking at this chart damage, walk away, wait for better things to set up. Um, it, the bridge is creaking, definitely creaking. You're going to hit the gas and try to buy the bottom, or are you going to just kind of wait and see what happens? All right, next up is Ethereum. RSI on the weekly? Oh, Mike's bringing up weekly charts. That's not too bad. It's like 50. Yeah, we're over here at 53. What's wrong with that? Oh, just no higher high on the RSI? Yeah. Yeah, but we're still within ranges. Looks like weekly RSI, for the most part, bounces at 45 unless it gets to 30. Yeah, lower highs. Yeah, that's a divergence on the weekly for sure. From here to here, there's, yeah, bearish divergence. Yeah. You're not, Mike, you're not finding positive things, my friend. These are not positive things. You're supposed to be finding good stuff. What is this crap? Everyone, just blame Mike, please. Blame Mike for finding bearish charts. It's Mike's fault. It's Mike's fault we went down. It's not Bitcoin's fault. I was I have no water. I'm gonna have to get water here in a second. I was reading some Reddit posts and someone's like, "This market manipulation's insane." I'm like, "What market manipulation? People just sell. It's not market manipulation. Not really." All right. Um, all right, my kid's gonna get me water. I don't have to pause. Here, bud. Oh, you just got me that? Oh, thanks, James. I think most things are done. For the most part, right now we're just watching. There's really not much else to do. You can do some homework. I mean, the best thing to do, if somebody was even around, and I guess I would have been around when it happened if I was actually actively looking at the monitor. Um, the best thing to do is try to buy the bottom in the moment, but that is so difficult to do if you haven't seen it, and a lot of people haven't seen it. I've only seen a few circumstances because I'm not like a big day trader, but like, how do you buy this? Well, I go here. That's where I would buy, right there. You could buy the undercut and rally candle going down on low volume. If you saw that in the moment on the way back up, you could try to buy that. That'd be very, very fortunate. Let's actually go down through the top 20, and we'll keep the minute chart up and the weekly. No, I'm just kidding. We'll do the daily, but the weekly would be very funny. Let's do the 1 minute and the monthly. Okay, guys, that's how we're going to analyze stock charts from now on. Yeah, yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah, it's difficult to switch modes like that, but you kind of, I mean, to take advantage, not that it's easy to do that, but you have to be able to kind of do that. I guess notice the symptoms, but by the time you're here, you're like, holy crap, this is crazy. And then you go, you're like, oh crap. Well, at least the volume's lightened up a little bit. And then you go, oh, that one's not too bad. And then, oh, that one's okay. Well, no higher high. You're like, okay, that doesn't look good. Although we're low volumes, so that's not too bad. And then you're consolidating, and then you have an undercut and rally. Do you take that one? Looks pretty good. You could do that. Lower volume on the way down. Oh, that is the low candle. And then yeah, up you go. So yeah, it's tricky. Like even then, I even saw that candle before, and I kind of fooled myself. It's like, oh, actually, after taking a couple seconds, you're like, oh, that's not too bad. And then if you don't buy that candle, you're gonna buy maybe one of these. But by now you've been beaten up. So if you don't buy these two candles, I'm just telling you it's harder to buy as you go higher. It just is. At least that's my experience. Like if you don't buy right here, you got to buy right here. You can't buy up here because it just feels like it feels like the velocity from here to here is only going to go so far, and it generally only will go so far. See, there's pretty much a measured move. I didn't get all the way to the bottom, but you get my point. You only have so much velocity, and a measured move is generally the best case scenario. Generally, just because that's the buying pressure. So if you don't buy real close, it's hard to buy higher. And then you get chopped up and then you get tired and then I will just exit. So I've done that enough times where I know if I don't buy here, I won't buy here because I don't want to deal with all this choppy garbage. And then if it does continue to go up, then I'm missing out. But that is what it is, and that's just how I do it personally. But yeah, so in this situation, you would really have to. You only had two good buy points. Really ballsy on the undercut and rally candle, low volume or high volume, doesn't really matter. Um, and then this, in my opinion, right there. But now, again, we're not too far off for that level, so it looks like we came back. We actually tested that level according to the daily. Yeah, there we go. That's right where that horizontal is. Look at that. So there's a little bit of support here, but how much? And the question is, do you want to chance it? That's the real question. Everyone always talks about, oh, it's support, it's this, it's that. The question is, are you going to do it? And in a lot of circumstances, the answer should be no. It should just be no. Because most people do it too often, get hurt too much. Just wait for a good setup. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with patiently waiting for the market to turn around? Just because you're pushing buttons doesn't mean you're doing anything. You know what I mean? Just because I threw you in the deep end of the pool and you sit there and you doggy paddle in one place doesn't mean you're swimming. You're doggy paddling. That's what you do in these situations when you're trading it. You're doggy paddling. You're hoping to break even. The problem is there's fees involved, and generally people will lose money. They don't. Just like doggy paddling, you're wasting energy. If I throw you in the middle of the Atlantic, you're dead. You can't doggy paddle indefinitely. That's a pretty good analogy, Mike. I like that one. What do you think? I like that one. I like the doggy paddling analogy because that's what happens. People think they want to buy back in. They're going to catch the move, um, and it just doesn't work out most of the time for most people. You're going to see posts and Reddit threads and people saying people saying this and that about that and this, but it's just all talk. You got to walk the walk. I've seen some dope Reddit posts where I feel like garbage. I'm like, man, that guy's doing way better than me, but I am killing it. That whole social media thing, comparing yourself to others, is fully real. But I am killing it. There's this one guy. Um, yeah. See, here's a good example. How'd y'all learn to make so much? Like, there's this one guy that is on my trajectory and he's done better than me, and now I feel bad. It's like, how the hell do I feel bad? This is insane. Um, I should go to my. I want to find this post because it's pretty close to my story. I don't know if I history. I don't know if I don't know if I. That's it. That's all I get for history. Okay, that's all my history. That's funny. Compact. Okay, I guess I don't get more history. Anyway, I think it was in that race to 10 million. Um, ew, I don't like this. I like that a lot better. This guy. Oh, yeah, this one's interesting. 10 to 20 to 30. We'll update again. 15 million. Look at that shit. I don't even know how that's possible. Some of these things. Like you look at all this stuff. And I don't know if you guys do like I do. Like I'm always trolling Reddit. You look at all this stuff, and there's a guy with 3 million, 4 million, um, unrealized gain 1.4. You look at all this stuff, and it makes you feel bad. But but don't let it. You just have to look at this. Like there's all these people. You're like, oh man, I'm a piece of garbage. You're not. You're not a piece of garbage. You're on your journey. They're on their journey, and that is it. Okay. We're all capable of what we're capable of. Some people just have, so for every guy that posts a chart like that, there's 10,000 more people that just lost everything. You know. So, all right, let's go through the charts here. Enough psychology, enough stuff like that. Hopefully, you guys get the gist of it. I do want to stay in the minute chart. I want to see what these charts were like on the minute because I think that'd be fun. If you guys want to see a 2 hour, let me know. We can do that. Um, and this isn't going to let me do what I want to do, is it? No, it's going to want to go back to current time frame. Can I unlock these? There are chart considerations, interval, crosshair, date range. Can each pane have its own date range? Okay, where's my date range changes on all charts within the layout? Yeah, I guess I don't want that. Okay, whatever. ETH didn't go down as much, but it undercut the trend line, high volume, highest volume of the move since the low. There's a form of capitulation that looks a lot like what we just went through. Didn't end up in much. Again, if you're patient, maybe you can try to buy over the top of the sell-off candle, which never really happened, right? And then you don't get hurt, and then you can try to buy maybe off of that horizontal, like we talked about in the newsletter and stuff. XRP got destroyed on Binance. I have another chart here from Poloniex, not as destroyed. That was pretty destroyed. Everyone got liquidated there. Again, there's not much to do on any of these charts. There just is not. Is this yesterday? Yeah, let's see how long this thing took. Let's look at the breadth on this 1 minute candle. 23%. Maybe a tidbit more. Big volume here. Actually lower volume on the way down. There's literally no one down here to buy. That's why this dropped down so far. I don't have another explanation other than the fact that nobody was ready with orders down here. Like you're up at 260. Why would you have orders ready under 160, under 180? You know, just no one had orders, and so the people that did get lucky got lucky in the moment. They just got lucky in the moment, and rewarded with a 80% move up. These moves just don't happen often enough. I don't think there's even algorithms probably written to deal with this type of a situation. Not really. Not this specific situation. But man, the amount of money that could have been made is crazy. But what do you do now? Not much. I don't think you do much. I think you wait. I think you have support levels. I think you have resistance levels. Um, Based off of some of these, like that low could be significant. That breakout point could be significant. And each chart's going to be a little different. BNB. This minute thing is going to be wild to try to manage. Um, BNB. Holy but Jesus. Again, no one ready with orders. People just selling at the market. Not, I guess, money makers are eating it up. Beats me, but then bounce here, very minimal bounce or volume on the bounce. Look at the volume aggregation. It was like it never even happened, but this was a 26% move up. It doesn't even register on the 1 minute VA tool. That's crazy. BNB chart basically broken at this stage. I think we talked about pi method sell signals on BNB here on the 2 hour right here and right there. Two early pi method sell signals that we discussed. Um, not all was lost. Here's the thing with the pi method sell signals, guys, is that there's never a bad sell. You never have a bad sell with a pi method exit signal. That's the key. Is it perfect? No. Are they sometimes? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they're perfect. This one actually is pretty perfect. You don't get much better than if you sold on this candle. Just doesn't get much better than that. Um, there's other ones that we've seen that go on and test highs and fail, or sometimes go on and rally further. Very few times do they rally further. But BNB was at the end of a very very large run and past $1,000, still above $1,000, which is good, which is very good. But again, just the liquidity just wasn't happening all the way down there where some of these names got to. Yeah, so here would have been hard to buy. Maybe cup and handle right here. But you're not doing anything. You're not going anywhere. You're already well up off the low. So is that even Bible up 27%? Probably not. You would have had to have balls of steel or try to buy maybe this hammer candle. It's not an undercut and rally candle. It's just a random hammer candle, but it would have worked. That's probably if you're looking for a signal and weren't just buying capitulation crap. Um, yeah, maybe something like that. Solana. Solana got ripped in half. Yeah, this 1 minute thing is going to be brutal. All right, I'm not going to go to the 1 minute with all of them. I just have to move this damn chart too much. You know how to pin the time frame on this chart? Is that a thing? Can I do that? If I could just pin it here, it'd be fine. Lock vertical cursor time by time table view. I don't know how to do that. I'm not used to looking at that. Anyway, um, yeah, maybe just go through the daily. Doge, oh my goodness, 24 cents to 10 cents basically. Someone had to buy just under 10 cents, it looks like, and just ate all that up. And now it's back at 19 cents. Monster. Absolutely monster. The 2 hour chart doesn't even do this thing justice. I guarantee you that. Yeah. You don't really have a lot here on the maybe we'll go to the 5 minutes, maybe the 15 minutes. Does that show it? It's not that long ago. No, that won't show it. Maybe the hourly? No. 15 minute? Maybe. I'm gonna put the Tim. It's gonna see the markets by the second. Upgrade now. No, I don't want to pay your exorbitant fees there, buddy. That's not working. Oh, send me to the 1 minute. Anyway, all right. Sorry, guys, trying to make this work. Tron didn't get completely obliterated. Went down to the 200. Found support at prior support. So I think that's interesting. I think I'm gonna talk while I scroll over here. This is impossible. This is just impossible. You get this, whatever this is, and then you get the craziest wick of all time. Well, not really. We've seen crazier, but it's a big wick. That's a big old wick. Cardano, broken, and Cardano's broken. Just nothing to say on that one. This flag could have been viable. A little sloppy cup and handle right there. Maybe viable, but it's up substantially off of the lows. Once again, you buy something that's up 89%. Holy crap. Yeah, if you're watching this, if you're in crypto and you see something just drop 50, 60%, you can probably just buy it on the next green candle. Maybe that's the rule. You're in a capitulation, just buy the green candle, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just so hard to really make the wise moves because here the selling pressure just stops. And then some people, step back in, then you have short covering probably. Hyperliquid destroyed down to 20 from 55. Nothing much to do there. Holy Suey. Wow. So this is one Mike was talking about, Suey. Jeesh. 83% down move. That is just mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. Holy wow, look at this candle. A 200? No way. The breadth on this one candle is 390%. There's zero chance you're even getting an order filled in these circumstances. Look at this orderly cascade of. Okay, let's invert it so it makes us feel happy for a second. Look at this. Such a beautiful. It's like an exponential chart growth. Just, in the wrong way. And you can't even see my trend lines are thicker than the price charts up there. This okay, this may be the craziest thing. This one candle for 300%. Maybe one of those other big sell-offs. What's the lunar one? Was it lunar? Was it lunar? That one stable coin that wasn't so stable? Maybe that one, but a 300% in 1 minute. My gosh, man. These charts are just done. All right, Chainlink, utterly destroyed. AVAX, utterly destroyed. Just Yeah, I never hit. Yeah, it's this weird. This is very weird inverted head and shoulders. It never did anything. I just don't know what to say. Yeah, I really. Other than just let's watch and see how things go. I think that's the wisest thing to do. You know, if the things rocket up tomorrow and I'm an idiot, so be it. You know what I mean? So be it. I'll save my capital. Adam, we're gonna get to Adam. Are we already at Adam? Oh no, it's not in the top 20 anymore. I'll look at Adam here. Yeah, I think I saw Adam. All of the alts look like this, look like XLM. They're just taken out. Everything taken out. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing because when you have everything liquid, like the whole thing liquidated, and people have to rebuild, what are they building? It's almost like a complete reset on the chart, which is kind of what a capitulation is. It's a complete reset of the chart, complete reset of the holders. And in a lot of these exchanges, especially Binance and things like this, yeah, maybe they are, Mike. I mean, these are complete resets. I mean, every stop was taken out. How does a stop survive that? You just at least on a leveraged account. I mean, obviously you can probably have some. Well, then you have forced liquidations by, um, oh my gosh, like I wasn't even thinking about this. Liquidations on liquidity pools maybe because they only let you get so much and it's based on the floating value of the asset, right? So if you got Solana or I'm just gonna use Solana because I know Solana goes down so far, you get forced liquidations, which is one of the reasons why crypto can be so schizophrenic, is those forced liquidations. So maybe a lot of those were forced liquidations. It's possible. In fact, it's very probable. In fact, it's guaranteed some things got forced liquidated, absolutely. But no one's surviving that. No one's surviving. And then it pops right back up somehow. Just the weirdest thing. So, look, someone got, you know, drop kicked to the face on this one. They're not coming back. Okay, there's gonna be some people not coming back after that. It's just gonna be very difficult for confidence right now. It's just it's just non-existent. Look at Litecoin. It was doing okay, and then it wheel kicked you to the grill, and ugh, man, these charts are just crazy. DOT. Who had your dollar order in for DOT? You know, MNT handled it relatively well. And then Atom. Yeah, this is the one I saw was at a penny. Where's the low? Am I even on the right candle? Is it not printing the low? Oh, 0.001. Yeah, who had that order in? Remember a long time ago, Michael, like we should just place some orders on some assets at 1 penny for shit like this. Remember we talked about that? Obviously, we talked about a lot of things we don't do, but my goodness, you wouldn't have done it for Atom. This is not an asset I would have done it for. So every strategy is flawed in a way. But what do you do? You do nothing. There's a lot of people that are going to say a lot of things. Um, Look, if you're a prime day trader, this was a gift. Okay, if you're like a prime in your prime of day trading, and you're 30 years old, whatever, 28, 27. Uh, Cheyenne's more of a swing trader than a day trader. But say Cheyenne was a day trader. He's in his prime, pretty much, um, age-wise. This is a gift. You can whipsaw this thing for a tremendous amount of money. Other than that, it's a curse. There's not too many day traders in their prime that are taking full advantage. There's going to be some that did. You just can't feel bad if you see those posts. You just can't. You just can't. It just is what it is. And we just do what we do. I'm just gonna click down these. I didn't see anything. I think I had Zcash. ZEC was the only thing that wasn't completely obliterated. But a lot of these did bounce right back. But how do you? how do you go into these? There's no setup. Look, the whole point about charting, and maybe this is me, and maybe this is me not understanding. Hold on a second. Let me form this thought. Okay, you know how I was. This is how I was trained. Trained. Dan Zanger, great trader, phenomenal trader. He trades off chart patterns. So this is how I was trained, not by this website necessarily, but I know he has these graphics, and I know it's IBD based. Um, I look for structure. I was trained. I trained myself. Like these structures made sense to me. I said, okay, the market's doing stuff. People behave in certain ways. Institutions can only behave in a number of ways. And we can see these patterns on the chart and we can gain an advantage and we can make money if we understand what's happening, right? I think this is a really old chart right here. Internet Japan, this is a bubble chart. This is where Dan made all of his money. Um, so when you seek structure, notice where his buy point is. It's not down here. It's here. Notice that? There's discipline. There's discipline involved. If you don't have the discipline, if you don't understand that these patterns give you an edge, if you don't really, like truly in your soul, in your gut, understand that these patterns are the ones. Oh, I can click on it again. Oh, here we go. Yeah, like if you don't understand that these patterns are the ones that give you an edge, and you're just guessing on price action, you're gonna buy that wick probably because you don't have an expectation of an edge. You're just trying to make money. Do you understand? Like there's a difference. There's a difference between someone opening a business and someone that knows how to run a business. Anyone can open a trading account, but do you know how to trade? Anyone can open a donut shop, but you know how to operate a donut shop. I'm sure there's certain rules that apply to opening a donut shop. That's why they're still around, even though they sell $2 items. Well, now they're $2, expensive bastards. Um, but yeah, so when you're looking at this thing, oh, is there opportunity? Like you're looking, oh, there's a wick, it's capitulation, it's this, it's that, and you're looking at buying. Not that you are, Mike. I'm just picking on you a little bit because you're the one that said it. Whatever you're saying to yourself, it doesn't matter what it is. Is that an edge that you can repeat and deploy and can take advantage of? Very likely not. This is not a repeatable edge. This isn't something that people can generally take advantage of. SEI? Yeah. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it came right back to the trend line. You've seen that a couple of times actually. A lot of things actually aren't living lower. They bounced right back. This is just a very, very forced liquidation. Man, look at this. This is crazy. That is the most concise bear flag. Look at that. Look at this H pattern. Talk about H patterns working. Geez, look at that. That is a brutal sell-off. I'm on the 1 minute on SEI. And then just monster volume candle after monster volume candle. I mean, wow, look at that one. How big is that one? 70% range. I should not have been working on my house yesterday. Although I can't trade Binance, so I don't know why I feel that way. Man, just and then it just stops. Because there's literally nobody left. Literally no one has any more money in SEI in a leveraged account to be liquidated. That's exactly what this is. There's no other explanation. You're gonna have some people that just sell on the way down, but um, man, and then yeah, right back up. So maybe it's a good maybe in a couple weeks, in a month or something, things will set themselves back up again. Aster, which one's Aster? Oh, ASTR? Is that Aster? This one? Astar? Aster. Do you have a symbol, Calibri? Because, crypto's kind of finicky that way. Unless this is the right one. and then I guess we'll look at it. Man, I don't even know what to say. These are some of the craziest wicks. Um, I mean, especially market wide. ASTER. That's the whole ticker. All right, there we go. MEXC. So they got it on MEXC and a couple other ones. Okay. I guess I'll try Binance, I guess. It's the third one, but is this a new issue or do they just get listed on Binance? They've been in MEXC for a minute. Just got new token of CZ. Okay. What is it? What does it do? I guess I could coin market cap it myself. So CZ has it, so it's already number 44. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's already like number 20. Already at 2.1 billion. Of course it's his next token. He needs more money. Perpetual Dex token. Don't we already have that? We just seem to recycle the same old shit. They're just playing market cap games. Yeah, it looks pretty brand new. Decentralized perpetual contracts. Cross-chain trade crypto. Well, trade stocks. That'd be cool. That'd be cool if they're actually doing stuff like trade stocks, trade whatever, trade whatever. That could be a big opportunity. Apple USD. Oh. 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 So these are derivatives. Hyperliquid killer. I actually don't even know about Hyperliquid. We follow it, but I don't really. I don't know. Crypto's kind of a big old repeat machine in terms of stuff they do. This is interesting though. Oh, are these actually? Did they actually buy the asset and then wrap it in a token or something? That'd be kind of neat. Okay, this may actually not be stupid if they implemented it well. And I don't have enough time to know if they did, nor do I maybe don't even have the expertise to know if they did. Market data? No, yeah, see, they just want their fees. They just want their damn fees. 1001X? What is this? Crypto Forex stocks. What stocks do they have? And they only have some interesting. Perpetual, uh, up, down. You can leverage trade, I'm guessing. Long 4 times. Others dominance. Coin market cap? Coin market cap? Hi, babe. Others dominance. Why am I drawing a blank on how to do that, Mike? Uh, crypto market cap. Where's the dominance one? I'm drawing a complete blank on how to do this. Where is others? It used to be a. Oh, they've changed things. Where? Just type others. Oh, Trading View. Sorry. Excluding top 10. Total market cap. Oh, this is dominance. This is total market cap dollars. This is dominance. Okay. Gotcha. What are we looking at? How Bitcoin still rules the day? Yeah, sorry, I had to figure it out. I don't do that very often anymore. I'm gonna go weekly just because just don't have enough information on the daily. Holy Head and Shoulders. Did you see this? And I'm not sure if you take the volume signature, but this says alts are going to get decimated, which means that Bitcoin's also going to go down in value. Usually that's how that works. Bitcoin just goes down less, right? So you tend to get destroyed, and then Bitcoin just goes down less on a percentage basis, but it still gets destroyed. Holy Head and Shoulders, Batman. Can you hear me say that? Oh, you can. Okay. Wow. Don't like that. Don't like anything about that. Big wick at the bottom of a long down. Oh, this one? Looking at capitulation for this one? Maybe still avoid. I say, dude, yeah, I say avoid all of it. I mean, so alts had their peak here in January 2022, and they've been on a sheer downtrend since then. Head and shoulders pattern, no bueno. I don't know if the volume's going to be right on something like this, though, Mike. It's not an individual name with a fixed supply. It's, you know, you can imagine that some other coins came online. I don't know how they're tracking volume here. I got no idea. So, but yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. They're going to add things at certain dates. Surprised I don't see more really big percentage up moves. Oh, speaking of Zcash, about the only thing still uh, freaking doing good. And this thing has been on its own little mission here. Even with yesterday's craziness, right back into highs. How insane is that? This is the craziest thing I've seen. You got a little bit of a downward sloping trend line right there on the 1 minute. You have a kind of a cup and handle here. I guess double bottom if you really want to do it, but that's too weird. Cup and handle right there. And you get spike low, probably also very oddly shaped. Yeah, do you buy that one? Maybe you get stopped out there if you do. It's a tough one. You buy right there? Good. That's probably the better buy. Then you get stopped out right there. And trendline break, you try it for a third time, then you get stopped out. You don't get stopped out. But you get stopped out of every other trade you tried. Every other one. And this actually looks halfway manageable. I don't know. I still don't know the dynamic at play here with Zcash. Why it's on just a monster run, unless Russia's deciding to use Zcash instead of Monero now. I don't know. What? Let's take a look at stocks. I see a red on my list here. Just everything got obliterated. We did ASTR, didn't we? Did we get sidetracked? Probably got sidetracked. Well, there's not. There's just honestly, Cleaver. What do you want me to say? There's really not much to see. It's a brand new market. Just got its face kicked in. Um, I think the project's interesting, and because it's ZC, he's going to have an advantage in that regard. I personally would be curious to know how the whole stock market thing works. Um, Binance big scan. It could be. There's going to be opinions out there like that, right? Right, Wander Sound. There's going to be opinions like that. I do think, I do think that crypto and the way that it does things is amazing for trading all assets like this. The question becomes the legalities of it, the trustworthiness of the institutions involved, how to get involved. There's all those things that come into play. Um, But yeah, I mean, it's just CZ right now can just their order book is messed up and tank the market. You think it's the order book of this thing? This thing tanked the market? No way. How would that spill over into Binance? Oh, you're saying Binance is a big scam, and Binance, their order book messed up the markets. Yeah. Yeah, he said it was a CZ product, so kind of assumed as much. Interesting. I gotta watch some YouTube on it, get a little bit more educated. I do think trading stocks though in crypto definitely could be advantageous. Um, but then again, you just it's still just a crypto. And it's not going to be very liquid and XYZ. So I don't know. I like things to get a little bit more mature. One thing people don't take into account when you deal with these types of exchanges, these dexes, is liquidity. Can you get in or not? Can you get in or not? Um, get in or out. You want to be able to get in or out. I've been in markets where I've been the biggest player, and it's like, I've never done this before. This sucks because I can't actually sell my position without completely tanking the market. You can see it in the order book, you know? You can see it dead in the order book, and you're like, yeah, this ain't working. This is not working. So, liquidity is huge. It's a very underrated property of exchanges that should be looked into a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, crypto's pretty fragmented. That's the main thing about crypto. There's some hubs like Binance is a hub. Um, there's some other hubs out there, but by and large, with all these dexes and all these different things, I mean, you can trade on what? How many exchanges now? Exchanges. What's the number? Like 20,000, 80,000, 190,000. They don't even list it anymore. It's so many. I they used to say up here how many. They change their UI again. 253. Uh, used to be a lot more than that. But even 253 is too many exchanges. Way too many. My thesis is that Binance One had liquidity for all altcoins, but has shifted most of it to pumping BNB and giving liquidity for themselves. Hmm. I mean, maybe. They also have market. I mean, there's market makers in there. They should be dealing. The market makers should be getting a majority of the liquidity, generally, from my understanding. That's just kind of how exchanges work. The market makers come in and take the order. Um, so I don't know about that, but yeah, I guess it's a thesis. Uh, so here's the thing about trust, right? And um, Mt. Gox obviously destroyed trust in Bitcoin at a time where I think a lot more people would have adopted if that hadn't have happened, myself included. Actually, I remember when that happened. Winter Mule had to transfer money into Binance to fill the order books. Dang. Well, that kind of explains all the interesting volume action we noticed because the volume was just weird. Very, very weird. Things are tanking without liquidity. Yeah, very, very, very weird. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, but all these exchanges require trust, though. Oh, we're talking about Mount Gox. Yeah, Mount Gox. And that's the thing about regulated exchanges, right? That's the thing. You have to have a bigger entity to keep these fuckers in line. FTX is a prime example. You gotta keep Someone's got to keep these guys in line. Otherwise, you end up with garbage like we had yesterday. And that's the main reason why the SEC. One of the main reasons the SEC exists is to try to keep the markets square. As bad as the SEC is, they people take advantage of the rules, but they're not. it doesn't hurt the average Joe. Does that not for the most part? Every once in a while, but crypto. I mean, there's been every year there's been something. Luna, not Lunar, Luna. Um, Luna wasn't done properly. Mount Gox wasn't done properly. FTX wasn't done properly. Just name these things over and over again, and eventually, just like with trading, what are you going to put? Where are you going to what risk level do you want for your capital? Do you want exchange level risk or chart level risk? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of places, a lot of guys in my chat room that, for one reason or another, couldn't get money out of exchanges. So when it comes to an Aster or something like this, it's always a gamble. Now CZ's got a good, generally a pretty good reputation. I'm not sure what he's done lately, but Aster starting up here at number 44, 2.1 billion market cap. Could it double to 4 billion? Be in the 30s, 20s? Sure, you know. You could do stuff like that, but they're so good at the market cap game that when they finally put these things out, it's already at 44. Like this is 256th or 372nd. That'd be a whole different story. You can make a 10, 20, 30x off of that, but a lot of these bigger ones that launch like this, like CZ probably owns half of this, are just another tack on another billion. What is his net worth now? CZ net worth. If 64 billion, no way. Seriously? Seriously? 92 billion? Get the fuck out of here. I was not expecting that. Oh, most of the BNB supply? Oh. 90% of the exchange plus a stash of its BNB tokens. Holy crap. That is a lot. That is a lot of money. Oh, is that the BNB chart? That's crazy. Wait a minute. So how's he 24 on billionaires, but number 22 on Singapore's billionaires? He's 48? You old son of a bitch. He's my age. I'm 47. I'm a failure. Wow. Paid a 50. Served 4 months in prison? When did you do that? Man, I've really stepped outside of the news cycle for crypto. This boggles my mind. I'm learning a lot of things today. Yeah, what's BNB's market cap? 160 billion? Yeah. You pled guilty? 160 billion. Yeah, he must own a ton of this. But he still owns Binance as well, and that's got to be worth a fortune. So maybe it's 50-50? I don't know. That is a lot though. That's more money than I made last week, that's for sure. Ooh, so yeah, I mean something like this, I just let the charts tell me what to do, and right now it doesn't really tell you to do much, so you just kind of have to wait until it sets back up again, really. Let's look at some stocks which just got hammered also. Like look at that extension by the end of the day. Maybe we'll get a rebound of some type, across the 10 and the 20-day moving averages, all in one fell swoop, all on some extremely large volume. I'm not sure, Wander Sound. The thing is, it came on, if I, and correct me if I'm wrong, but because I wasn't paying that close attention. Um, it came on Trump's new China tariff announcement. And at the start of the show, if you missed it, we were actually looking at the markets, and we were looking at April 2nd was Liberation Day right here. And of course, you liberate things by tariffing everything that you buy, right? That's liberation. So you liberate, the market tanks, Trump capitulates, and then the market rallies. So Trump announces, I guess you'll wait for the capitulation. Now, one thing, if I remember correctly, before he actually um, announced his announcement that he was bitching out on his tariffs, he announced that the markets were going to like what he had to say tomorrow. If I remember that properly. I could be. I think I am. So if he does something similar to that, maybe that's his symbol to buy the market, and you'll probably see the market rally just on that tweet alone. Probably, just I can't be the only one that noticed that. Um, so I don't know if it's going to be a COVID type of an event. I mean, if we look to COVID, and look, I'm gonna treat this the same way that you treat every other market sell-off. You treat them all the same way. You can't treat them differently because they're not different. They're market sell-offs. Doesn't matter what the impetus is. Doesn't matter what the rationale is. Doesn't matter what the reason is. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You treat them all the same. You look you look for high volume bottoms as such. Influx of volume, all pretty steady without price progress lower. And you can try to buy that if you want to. You can also wait for a reversal and some type of a higher high to be broken. Those are the best ways to deal with something like this. You can get shaken in and out once or twice if you tried to take advantage of this. It didn't work out well for you. If you follow IBD's follow 3-day system, which is meant to deal with downtrends, such in the same way so is our follow 3-day system that we have for Bitcoin. But if you do it for the stocks, then for every time when you move into a correction, then you start counting lows. You start counting the days of the low. So let's say I moved into a correction here, and this day doesn't undercut the low of this day, then this is day 0, this is day 1. And then it undercuts, so that's day 0, then it undercuts, that's day 0. So high volume on a 0-day means nothing in a follow 3-day situation. Okay? And the reason I'm starting with this and not starting with Tesla is because this is more freaking important. Okay? This is just more important than what the damn Tesla chart does. Um, not picking on you there, but just saying. So then what you do, this is your 0-day. This is your day 1. This is your day 2. This is your day 3. This is your day 4. On day 4, you can start to look for a follow-through day. Okay? But you never buy any of the first ones because these markets have crazy rallies. So in this circumstance, this market never even attempted to rally. Then it rolled over and you get a 0-day. And you get day 1, and day 2, and day 3, and day 4. Now you start looking for follow-through days, and I believe that's a follow-through day. I believe that's a follow-through day. So also a higher high, volume higher than the prior day, and it was over 1.5%, 2%, so 6%. So that was your cue to buy. Okay, you could have tried to be more aggressive and try to play Nostradamus down here. You could have tried to buy the gap. You could have tried to buy a small breakout here. Yada yada yada. This actually is a Wyckoff no supply candle where you kind of gap down back towards a low. You have low volume. It's pretty much what it is. Nasdaq has a better one. I thought that one didn't look right. Where are we at? COVID? Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of the wrong one. Were we looking at COVID? I don't even know what the hell we were looking at. Yeah, that was the wrong setup, but it's same thing applies. Um, yeah, I don't really have a low supply candle here. I was thinking about this COVID, this Trump's liberation dip. There's a no supply candle here, right here, that one. That's the low supply candle. That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I happened to pick a scenario where it had a low supply candle because I noticed it, but this is the one I was actually thinking I was pointing at. Was the one from the Liberation Day thing. That's a low supply candle. That's a Wyckoff thing. Um, so yeah, and then here, you could try to do something across here. I'm not sure what the follow through day was here. Yeah, notice how I didn't even know what chart I was on. I still found a follow through day. Did you notice that? It's because this shit just works, man. That's what I said earlier. You got to know what you want to do, and you have to wait to do it. That's all it is. People just get caught up in the excitement, um, and everybody does. We're all professional gamblers, so there's a little bit of that. But the key there is professional. And Aram said something very good to me earlier. I'm not sure if it was this year or last year. He said, do what you do, just be more professional. I'm like, God damn it, Aram, you're right. You're right. Be more professional. So 0 day, let's look for what the follow through day could be. That is not the follow through day, although it could have been. Day 0, day 1, day 2 wouldn't have qualified. Um, this day, maybe? Maybe. Maybe. What looks the same? Yesterday's candle in relation to COVID? Oh, damn, look at the NASDAQ futures. They open? They open lower. Of course, that's only yeah, it's just one candle though. But here's the thing. Here's the difference between COVID and this candle. I said it earlier because Mike kind of said the same thing. This is coming right off of a high. You don't capitulate right after a high. This is the analogy I used earlier was this is the bridge dropping 6 inches while you're driving on it. Like kaboom! You're like, oh shit, what just happened? Uh, what's going on? If you look at COVID, so look at it this way: Liberation Day was this day. The market had already been in a downtrend. If you were surprised by a Liberation Day drop, you're a retard because the market had already been in a downtrend for like a month. Market had already been in a downtrend. You know what I mean? So then by the time you finally do all this stuff over here, now you're lower. Now you capitulate. Whatever. It wasn't really a major capitulation on this one, but you get the point. Then you go to COVID, and COVID was a similar situation. You don't put in the lows until well after the bridge drops. I mean, this day is like this day, just up here a little bit more. High volume, big drop, crosses a couple moving averages. So, yeah, it's this day. It's not this day. It's not this big red day, And then notice on this one, these are, what is it? Yeah, every chart, the volume's different. So you kind of have to, I don't have exact NASDAQ volume on a chart, which is a problem. I don't know why we don't have that. Um, Another three red candles on Monday. Well, that's one day. How do you see three? How do you see three red candles on one day? But yeah, I think. I mean, look, the bridge creaked. Fortunately, I was cash. I didn't get hurt by it. Not really. I had a very small position. Um, and in all honesty, that tends to happen with me. It just is what it is. I don't wait for any signal. I wait for stalling. I wait for lack of buying pressure, and then I just exit and I leave. And then oft, decent enough times, especially lately in the past several years, the market tends to just like I avoided all that. We avoided all of this, avoided all of this, missed all that, missed all this. I don't know about these ones. I don't remember. But the whole point is, is understanding and recognizing. Oh, starting Monday. Yeah, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, we could. I mean, 100%, dude. Look, um, and I haven't really stopped to do a lot of research because I've been building my house. Like I'm building a freaking house. There's a lot of shit to do. Turn around Tuesday. That's just hope instead of expectation. Yeah. Um, those are shortable, by the way. If you get those big up moves like that, you get this sequence right here shortable because it's right after a downtrend. These first moves up are definitely shortable. They're definitely if you want to play that, you know, like here's a sell off. There's a rally that's shortable. That rally shortable. Retest here shortable. Um, these are harder to short because they're further down. You know what I mean? Like they're not stark moves up. This is a stark move up. Stark move up. That's a stark move up. That's definitely shortable. You don't cross this line here, you're shorting this red candle right there, right at the open. That's a great short. I don't really short, um, but if I ever decide to focus on it, I would do pretty good. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said earlier, Wander Sound. That's exactly what I said, because Liberation Day, right? It's just Liberation Day all over again. It's the same damn playbook. Liberation Day, because that's how you liberate people, you tax them, drops, he bitches out, and then the market rallies. So he's going to bitch out. If he doesn't bitch out, it'd be very interesting. Be very interesting. Why? What were you thinking? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, Mike. I'm just saying the wise course of action in most of these circumstances is not to do any is, cash and just wait it out to see what the thing's going to be. Cuz like this whole move down prior to Liberation Day, you're like why am I jumping why would I jump in on any of this? We have to remember that after these uptrends come downtrends. So the whole point is to ideally make a wise entry decision. And I'm more of a swing trader, so I would, I would like to take trades during the uptrend. Take your trades, and I exited multiple times during this. It's not that I knew we were going to drop or anything like that. Um, I think I exited up here. I think I exited up here, and I don't think I got in until back over here. And then IonQ happened. I mean, all the things, right? All the things. But I sold out multiple times. I missed plenty of moves. I did a bunch of I mean, the amount of mistakes I made, the amount of things I don't take, the amount of things I miss vastly outweigh the things that I do. But I'm able to grow the account. So I can't be too mad at it. I gotta let the perfectionism go. You know? You gotta let it go. We don't know every candle. All we get to know is when is it wise to make a move? When is it wise to make a move? That is it. And this candle doesn't reek of wisdom to me. Let's go through these stocks. So Apple, not as much volume on the down day. That's pretty good. I haven't seen most of these. Pretty much, you haven't seen any of these. Um, Apple undercut its little midpoint there. Tesla pulling in volume, not really that bad. If you have Tesla, so your breakout point was here. You're still in positive territory. We could easily pull back and then go back up again. Maybe this Trump thing lasts only a week or two. Well, last time it took a week, right? Less than a week. Soxel got obliterated. Tons of people sold Soxel. Maybe there's some more implications for chips or something. Um, I don't know, but Soxel just got killed. Look at that volume. That's the biggest volume since Liberation Day trash. So that's definitely a Pi method exit signal right there. That is just dunzo. Nvidia down 5%, giving up the biggest volume since the breakout. Maybe the green edges it out, but that wasn't a breakout candle. So it's bigger than that one for sure. So that is a no-go. You just let that one go. Palantir never really got started. Not a bad sell-off though. Volume minimal, and so far holding the 50-day moving average still. We'll see how that plays out. AMD chopping the good chop up there. ARM Holdings reversal, ASML reversal. Not crazy volume like we saw in a lot of other things. This at least the cryptos. SMCI, Reddit, just continuing with this downtrend right now. There's really nothing too dramatically wrong with Reddit. Bigger picture wise, obviously it broke this trend line, which is a no-go. Hopefully it gets supported here. If not, it gets supported here. I think that's a clear buy. I do think Reddit is a quality name. ExxonMobil, choppy garbage. GLD got a bid yesterday, up 1% as the market was tanking, but it had its own exit signal. That is a big red exit signal on gold. Um, so we're probably topped out here, at least for a while. If we reverse back up, I'll be a little bit surprised. I'll definitely be surprised because, and I think I mentioned it the day after it happened, this red candle is about the same volume as we got on that red candle. So there's definitely an amount of selling pressure that stalls a move, and I think we've just hit it. So we'll see how that goes. SLV, this one's Silver's schizophrenic. Okay, I'm just saying. Silver is schizo. High volume. Where did it close? Did it close higher? Close is 45. Open is what? Oh, close is 44. Open is 46. So it opened high, closed low. Okay, then it bounced back. I didn't really analyze the silver chart. So there's your selling pressure. There's your selling pressure. Your buying pressure. Fairly consistent, but still looks pretty darn toppish. Microsoft going the wrong direction, and volume's a little bit more elevated than you would like it to be. You've seen some larger red candles here, definitely outweighing the green, the green ones. Water break. Hold on. ConocoPhillips obliterated. Hopefully gas goes down. Backblaze, Amazon, Choppy, Meta. Both of those had pretty good 5% for Amazon, almost 4% for Meta. That's big. And Oracle still not doing anything uptrendish. Quantum's got hit again. Not too bad. Not too bad. Still 20-day support for IonQ. Rigetti's still well above the 10-day. So if the market doesn't fully roll over, then maybe the quantums could still be viable. Yeah, sorry, I never did TAO. My bad. I forgot about that name. I mean, every chart today gets the same analysis. Is don't do a damn thing because market's crazy. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully my throat is done doing throat things. I'm not sure what's going on over there. Yeah. So let's look at this whole TAO chart on Binance since it started over here. It's done nothing. Why the hell you in this stupid thing? What is enticing about this name? It's doing nothing. Literally, it's done nothing. This green line's been touched many, many times. Yeah, anytime somebody brings up a chart like this, says, "What do you think about this chart?" I'm like, "It's been flat for 3 years." Even though this isn't 3 years, but like it's been flat for 3 years. So what do you expect it to do? All of a sudden get bullish? Like, what's it gonna do? I mean, you got something if it does that maybe, but it just rejected that one too. Actually tried to go up for a minute and then proceeded to sell off dramatically. So yeah, down 63%. Of course, every chart sold off like that. I do not endorse charts like this. I do not like charts like this. If From what I understand about TAO, it could be an okay asset, but it's still a crypto, so it's still just a crypto. Um, but it's not doing anything. It's the flattest chart, and why spend time on it? What you do with charts like this is what I tell people to do. If you like this name, okay, here's exactly what you do. You put it on a watch list and then you set an alert. And you don't look at the damn thing until the alert breaks. Maybe you revisit it once a week or once a month. Maybe you do a chart review whatever. You know what I mean? But it doesn't need to take up brain space. It doesn't. There's a lot of charts you're never going to buy, right? There's a lot of charts you're never going to buy, and that list is massive. It should be at least. The list that you're going to do is massive that you're never going to do. The ones you're thinking about can go on a watch list, and then you have another watch list for ones you're actively looking at entering. And that's about it. This goes on the middle watch list if you like it. TIA? Worse? Yeah. Well, that at least has a direction. You know what you do with this? You just short it. I forget there was a coin I had one time. Oh, I didn't have, but I because I do all the charts. There was a coin that I charted every day, and I'm like, just short this thing. It just always goes down. Just short it. That's all you gotta do. Just short it. Take profits at 30%, compound it. 30% compound it. 30% compound it. Just never stops going down. This reminds me of that. Yeah. Yeah, that's not good either. But yeah, the other one's better because you're obviously not, hopefully, not losing money. This one, you're never getting it back probably. And what's going to happen is 3 years from now, it'll rally up substantially and you'll be pissed that you sold it. That's how it's going to go. But the other side of it is if you hold it for 3 years, it gets so diminished by the time it rallies up, you're probably break even. It's just this weird catch 22 that happens in the markets because you can never be in the right place at the right time um, until you are. That's it. Sounds simple. Remember I said earlier in the show, all the simple truths end up being the facts. It's just the way it is. Don't lose money. Don't trade in downtrending markets. Um, One that's not so well known unless you've been in trading a while is buy high, sell higher. That's a good one. Um, Buy low, sell high can be good. There's value investors that do good with that one. It's not really my thing. Um, but yeah, don't lose money is a big one. Wait for your setup. Be patient. You know, your mom always told you to be patient. Your dad always told you to be patient. So do that. Do those things, and you'll eventually find success. But market's been rocked. I'm gonna go here, guys. Um, the market's been rocked. There's no other way around it. Market's been rocked. Crypto's been shaken to its core. I think a lot of places, a lot of traders got hurt. It's going to take a while to rebuild um, confidence. That's really what. Look, markets boil down to psychology. Period. Okay. Markets are a representation of psychology of the asset being traded. Okay. And then you have sector involvement. Then you have, crypto or stock or whatever, right? Then you have whatever vehicle you're using. Markets are nothing but that. So when confidence gets shaken, it takes time for that confidence to build back up. That's why a majority of the time these things don't just rally back, barring some. The times they rally back are when the economy is really, really good and really nothing's going to bring the market down, or when there's a fundamental shift that happens like back to back. Um, but it takes a while. It takes a while, you know. Even this whole Trump tariff thing after him bitching out took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until you get the Wyckoff signal, 8, 9, 10 until you get a breakout. You still had 2 weeks to think about things. 2 weeks. You don't have to make the decision today over here what you're gonna do. You just wait and you let all this stuff happen. Blah blah blah. So I think we have an end of year rally. Everybody who wanted to sell in order to book is out. Yeah, it's funny because I was cash a week ago or something like mostly cash a week ago. Whenever I sold my Ion Q position, when was that? Yeah, it wasn't a week ago. It was like 4 days ago, I guess. Here, 2 days ago. Oh man, this week is just dragged. Um, no, I was out here and then I got back in some. Then I sold. Anyway, I've been lightening my load the past week or so. Um, Wondering if we're going to get a Q4 because Q4 is typically the best quarter of the year, right? I don't know if we're going to get that. I mean, maybe we'll get a Santa Claus rally or something, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just going to wait for the market to do what it needs to do, and if it has good interpretive price action, then maybe I'll do something. Until then, I'm perfectly happy cash. Um, my okay, I'm gonna brag a little bit. Why not? I wonder which. So I got two main accounts, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I've been getting real lucky this year. Um, I got real lucky this year. Where's my performance? I've said this for a long time. When you trade, right? What do you want your what do you want your capital to look like? You want it to look like this, right? Like this is zero, this is 1 million, right? Like that's what everybody wants it to be. Um, Unrealistic. Realistic is this, I think. For me, that's the ideal. That's the ideal price performance on your account. You think cash is better than Bitcoin or gold? I think everything's. Well, we just went over gold, Wandersound. I think gold had a topping signal. You know, here's the thing. When people talk about, oh, I don't understand when people don't want to go cash. I do not understand that. Because then you're always taking a directional bet on something. Okay, if you're going to go into Bitcoin, you're betting that Bitcoin isn't going to tank. If you're betting on gold, you're betting that gold isn't going to tank. Um, I think gold had a topping signal right there on Thursday. I think it topped out. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it could consolidate again. That's even if it does it for a short period of time, right? Um, Now where's my chart I just had? Well, I live in the US, so what's it in a downfall against? I mean, if I go to the Dixie here, I don't see a free. I mean, yeah, it came down, but whatever. I mean, what am I gonna do? Am I really gonna? Yeah, am I gonna put at risk um 10, 20, 30%? You're in the euro. Am I gonna put in risk, 10, 20, 30% for 4, 5, 6% in currency, currency? I don't. The changes in currency markets are so minute compared to what can be done in this in the stock markets and stuff like that, that it's nonsensical to me to go into. Now, if gold's in an uptrend, you want to trade gold? Yeah, no, I got zero issue. I traded gold. I definitely put a position in gold, and that worked out well for me. Could have worked out better, but I screwed that up because I'm a human being. Where's my stupid little chart? It's gonna pop up on me one day. Apple, was I Nvidia? No, those are. Anyway, I was gonna leave you with a little bit of hope. So you want your account to do this, right? A lot of people just want their 4% a year, 5% a year, blah 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 blah. Something like that, right? So I told you I just want to go cash, right? Okay, check this shit out. This is why I want to stay cash. Bam. I told you that ideal capital. Look, I got it. So do I want to put this at risk up here? No. I do not. I don't want to buy gold. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I live in the US. If I was in Europe, I would be in euro. Whatever cash is to you. If you can pull off something like this, I'm actually flabbergasted it's happening to me, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just flabbergasted. Um, if you can pull off something like this, like if you look at these, and there's some big downtrends in here, down 50% right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I don't have down draws. I have down draws. Drawdowns, drawdowns, down 50%, 25. Got back up a little bit, got flat, and then you get lucky. You hit a good one. You go up 300%. Years of learning, paying out big time. Absolutely, but it's focused learning. It's honing what I do continuously, right? So I think that's Nvidia. I think that's Nvidia. I think both of these are Nvidia and mix of other stocks, right? Like, it's not just Nvidia. Um, and then this is so much money. I got scared and became a bitch for like a year, essentially. I was just getting used to that amount of money in my account, and my other accounts actually. It's funny. Um, I think I can add both. It's too big. Oh, yeah. This is funny. So, uh, this is my other. I have two IRAs in this in E-Trade, and when is this the right one? That's the right one. Yeah, up 100%, 200, 300, 400%, up to 700% in this one. And then, like, that IonQ trade starts here. Do I do it for gains or because you well, both. I mean, what I guess, yeah, both. Why would I miss out on? I mean, look, I don't have that much money. I mean, I got a good chunk now, don't get me wrong. I'm not wanting for money at this stage of game, but um it's I've been doing this for 25 years. Why would I stop? Especially if I can continue to be effective, you know? I mean, I don't have just millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to the point where, it's I'm buying yachts and shit like that. Like, it's not like that. I can't, I'm doing my house. Well, I got to pay taxes this year. Taxes are going to be brutal too. Yeah, you got to pay taxes. So taxes come out a lot. But what I was going to say is that this performance right here did not happen in the other account. So this tops out in August. Let me switch to the other account. And so that starts in August. I don't know why that happened. I don't know, but if I could have made a 300% gain here, then made another 300% gain, like it just, I don't know, man. Sometimes you can't. This is my big account too, by the way. Fortunately, it has the biggest percentage, but um, this is my big account. So, you know, I'm not perfect. Okay, I'm pretty good at reading charts. I've got a strategy that generally is working for me. And so when I say I go cash, this is why. Okay, I just like I said, I'm bragging a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna brag a little bit, but it's definitely also education for you guys to know that you don't have to do like this was 2024 July, and I didn't do really anything of consequence till September 2025. That is a year. That is a year. Um, So, I mean, that's a year of me. There's some bad, like this trade right here. This is a really bad trade right here. This, go up from 751 down to 565. That is a drawdown. Yeah, I think that's my Palantir trade. Yeah, I even screwed up Palantir this year. Yeah, it's good money. I actually don't know what the starting capital is, to be honest with you. I kind of don't want to give up my number. I don't care too much, but I don't know. I don't know. Some of the guys in the chat know most of it, but the whole point, like, look at this. This is really what I'm proud of right here. But yeah, it was around 100K. I probably a little more. Um, but look at this. Look at this. I'm actually really proud of this. That from March, April, May, I did basically nothing until June, and then I took a position and then made some money. I'm really proud of that, right there. That's the thing I'm the most proud of. This is exactly what you want your trading account to look like. Exactly. Up, flat, up. Ideally, you don't go for a year without trading, and then ideally you can rotate this and have that other 300%. And then, oh, you know what this was? Um, yeah, this was the whole Liberation Day thing. I really didn't do much in my big account because I was still scared of my big account. But in my little accounts, um, I took leveraged ETF positions that ended up in some other trades, I think, and I ended up making like 200 or 300% in those ones. And I didn't take it in this one. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because leverage ETFs are like my safe position, and then these are all options trades. These are all options trades. So, but in general, the whole point is to, oh, there's all brokerage accounts. Oh, you can't even see it. Oh, that's cumulatively. Anyway, uh, my general point is know when to step aside. That's my general point. Know when to step aside. That's all. And this really feels like a stepping aside point to me. I'm just saying it just feels like a stepping aside point. Market bounces back. Well, that's good. That means we'll have more history behind us and there'll be more confidence for people trading in. We need confidence too. I know I need confidence to try to get back in the game after something like that. I won't be the first one in. I will never be the first one in. Um, yeah, and if I do my job right, I won't be the last one in. That's all there is to that. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed your time, learned a little something, gave a little wisdom, can apply it to yourselves, and can be a little safer in your trading. So, all right, guys, have a great day. I will see you next time.